out to the land of the pines. I'm thumbing my ways out of North Carolina, and I'm headed up the road and pray to God I see headlights.
3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
On my own, here we go.
If you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
The communists declared that the real differences among our people constituted the weakest and most vulnerable point in our social fabric.
It's MAGA country.
This is no hoax, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you to run for your lives while you can. We're not making this up just so we can take over the world.
The old dinosaur media isn't dying, it's dead. We are the new media. This is our world now. Lay down and die.
Peace was never an option.
So if we don't step up and win this culture war, then who the fuck will?
Let's wake the fuck up! We're gonna get naked.
No. I'm locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
That's what you've been waiting for. Be the one we need.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Global industrial complex.
Yep.
Uniparty.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The point is to destroy Western civilization from within using Maoist technique.
So therefore you have to vote for me.
I don't know. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Hey.
Woke is Marxism, evolved to attack the West.
Hey!
Stop giving up.
It's only just begun! Now!
Do it! Yes, you can!
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move.
Just do it!
Are people bitching about that?
Some people.
Of course they are. Oh, fucking A. All right, got it. Yeah, too fucking bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Any far left conspiracies, to be honest with you.
Ain't no single entity going to swoop in and save the day. You are going to be continuously let down if you place all of your hope into one individual. Instead, look inside and look around. We're doing this together.
We all are fighting for the same thing, and we all see the same problem.
It's time to stop being an NPC, get off your ass, and join the meme war.
Shame! Shame!
No, I don't like you.
Shame!
If we were in the wild, I would attack you.
I'm sick of it, man. I'm fucking sick of it. I will not do it again.
Thank you.
I wonder how many people feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Be the beating drum at the head of the growing creative cavalry charge. Be vocal and profound in your passion for projects you enjoy.
No more excuses.
I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you.
A new world order.
We are in the beginning of a mass extinction.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Hey, wait a minute.
You control population, you destroy the family, and then you you sow division.
You don't need a destination when you're running on an omnidirectional treadmill.
Are we ready for a new world order?
You'll never defeat the human spirit. You'll never defeat God. You'll never win.
Pray that he is watching. Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you.
On my own, here we go.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chilling with Sasquatch, where we have had a bit of a kerfuffle. My guest's power has been reduced to nothing due to storms. Therefore, we are rescheduling. So, if you're here to see Fat Rock and the General, you're going to have to come in probably Wednesday is what we're looking at, assuming everybody's got their power back and stuff. But that being said, it's not all a loss. Also, Captain Curmudgeon's daughter has been married as of, I think, yesterday, and he's doing a whole bunch of family stuff today, which is why we're not doing the blast radius. So it's middle of the road day, I suppose. So we always keep a Red Bull around just in case things go horribly wrong. And in that case, I can drink a Red Bull and laugh at myself. Because like I said, if you go look at my introduction on my channel, I'm here to laugh at everyone, including myself. What's up, P. Fletcher? Welcome in, bud. Okay, so I've got a handful of videos, and these kind of run the gambit because there's a whole bunch of different stuff I had tucked away that I'd been planning on using and hadn't got it wrong. If you're lonely, but only if you like puppies, I'm so confused. So we got Scotty Waddles gets the gold, as usual. Zephyr of Voxel gets the silver. And P. Fletch 83 gets the bronze. Welcome in, bud. Y'all are the bestest of the best. Did y'all know that? Let me get a few other things set up. Right. Okay, that's working. That's working. My StreamYard has been glitching out quite a bit here recently. So this first video, goes to the heart of the Second Amendment debate in general, right? What's up, Ben? Welcome in, bud. Appreciate you being here. Whether or not people need firearms for self-defense and the whole concept of hunting and collections and other reasons for purchasing them goes completely out of the window when talking to people who are anti-gun in general. And so you end up having to fall back on the statistics. But for the past, 12 years, most of our statistics have been previous census. And so we've had virtually nothing as far as on the books that we could point at that wasn't essentially derived straight from anti-gun groups. Whether they were bankrolling the studies or what, it was almost always one side of the consideration or a very tightly controlled sample group, that kind of stuff. Not too long ago, there's been a new study that has been released, and this is basically going over, and it's still based off the previous census, but it's a little bit more comprehensive, and it has some interesting findings. And since I don't have a co-host nearly beautiful enough to pull all of this off, I'm going to bring in somebody to do it. Oh, she didn't show up. Damn. I guess I'm not nearly the pimp I thought. There she is. All right. So this is Liberty Doll. And if you're not familiar with this channel, she basically does firearm news in general, whether it's legal, actual events occurring. Hey, what's up, Jugglass? It's good to see you. I appreciate you coming in. But she covers both sides of the whole argument. Now, she is firmly pro Second Amendment. That's not a debate. She turned down. I've been following her since she had like 500 subscribers. I actually stumbled across her around the same time I stumbled off Daisy Cousins' content and got blocked on Daisy Cousins. And this chick just actually commented on my comment and laughed about it because, I mean, it was a little savage. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was savage enough that it got mandatory carries attention, and he come and subscribed to the channel. And from there, all of the interviews and everything kind of sprung. Mandatory carry being the first Sasquatch shows I ever did. It's not on my channel because he broke it. So I'm going to let this young lady explain the whole thing to you, then we'll discuss. It's only about 4 minutes and some change. And it's also muted.
Would be because he is a Liberty Doll for a one-time 20% discount. So this study was conducted by John Lott, whose name might sound familiar. That would be because he is a gun rights researcher behind a bunch
of flying auditor. Good to see you, bud.
How common defensive gun uses really are. We can add this one now to the list. According to an article that Lott published in The Federalist, he and the Crime Prevention Center used FBI active shooting reports to determine that legal gun owners stopped 51.5% of active shooting attacks, while police stopped 44.6%. Not only that, the police were 17% more likely to be injured when they did respond compared to civilian gun owners. Specifically, they found that armed civilians stopped 180 of 515 active shooting incidents. And now, of course, that is not 50%. But
I like sweater puppies too. But that's neither here nor there.
when you exclude gun-free zones where regular people are not allowed to carry, those numbers go up. In non-gun-free zones, they stopped 158 out of 307. Now, by the FBI's definition, this is any shooting that attempts to kill people at a public place, excluding...
Or I'll take that on board. Why not? Okay, so the only time that a braced AR pistol would make any sense is if you were in California and it was California compliant. That's the only time that makes any sense at all. Otherwise, you'd do much better with like a nice small Makarov 9, to be honest. It's small enough to carry in your pocket. You don't need any special equipment and has almost zero recoil. Your smallest individual with the smallest hands can utilize it. It's not much bigger than a PP7 that James Biden looks a lot like it, actually. But yeah, that's I know you were being kind of ironical, but there is a legitimate answer to that question.
Excluding robberies and shootings tied to gang violence. And the civilian gun owners were much, much less likely to injure innocent bystanders. In fact, they only accidentally shot a bystander in a single case. Police, however, shot others in 4 cases, killing officers twice and civilians twice. The study also found that despite the arguments that good guys with guns would interfere with police response or get shot themselves, it happened in 0 of the cases on the FBI roster. They also only had their gun taken away from them in 1 case. In 58 or 32% of the cases stopped by civilians, law enforcement determined that it was or was likely to be a mass shooting.
Welcome in, Hippie. If you got a few minutes, hop on the panel. We can talk about what you've been doing and going through.
Event. Now, we can hypothesize a few things from this. You could argue that maybe cops need more or better training, or maybe their uniforms put them at a disadvantage, making them easier, more obvious targets. Maybe you could argue that the civilian gun owners who step up are ones who have done a lot of training and are therefore somewhat prepared and confident in their actions. But I think that the number one thing to take from this here, besides the simple fact that good guys with guns do in fact save lives, which we knew, is the clear effect of gun-free zones. The data itself proves that gun-free zones make you have to rely.
All right, so we're going to take a second here for y'all to computate what just took place, what she just said. And then I want to ask you, put a 1 in the chat if you think gun-free zones are a positive feature in the American landscape, and a 2 in the chat if you do not think that gun-free zones help. And when we get to the end of the video, I'll elucidate as to how I perceive gun-free zones.
On waiting for a police response during incidents when we have numbers right here proving that civilian gun owners are an invaluable resource in protecting and saving lives. So invaluable that in areas where people are legally allowed to carry, they are faster and perhaps more effective responders than law enforcement. And this might just be down to the fact that gun owners are already there. They are in the right place at the right time. Or maybe they do more training, or both. Either way, the numbers are on our side. Still, critics argue that this isn't the case. I don't know what more proof you need that gun controllers don't truly care about saving lives the way they claim. We already know that mass shooters are more likely to choose soft targets. The numbers do not lie. And these are FBI numbers. If you are in a gun-free zone, you are more likely to be a target and more likely to suffer for it because you have to wait for law enforcement to arrive. And what the numbers tell us is that in places where there are more people legally able to carry guns, there are more people ready and available to be those first responders. And at the end of the day, if you find yourself a victim, would you rather wait? And does it really matter if the person saving your life has a badge? I would say probably not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Short and sweet today. You guys know.
Excellent. Now, as we were saying before, the question comes up, and most of the chat put in a 2, so most of you have at least considered the concept of a soft target. I'm a little bit reticent about allowing some of the teachers I've seen in recent years carry. I'm not a huge proponent of red flag laws, but some of the teachers seem to raise a few more red flags than your average, say, school janitor, right? What's up, Queen Bird? Welcome in. Rocky, good to see you, bud. And a single school resource officer in a school, or even a small group of them in a school, has the same problem that corrections officers have, of the monotony of the day wearing into the point where when something surprising happens, everybody just stands around and stares at each other because there's no preparation for this type of stuff. What's up, Joe Cool baby? How's your wife and my kids? And I'm just saying, like, if you present someone with mental problems, with a very easily damaged thing, there's no. What's up, hippie? Give me a flip me off or something. Yeah, all right. What's up, baby?
What?
I know you're are you a Second Amendment pro or negative?
I'm definitely pro Second Amendment. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So
I mean,
how do you feel about opening gun-free zones to Second Amendment? That seems to be what's on the board in the future.
Well, I think isn't crime a lot less when it's a gun-free zone? So why wouldn't we?
What's up, Divine? Truism. Good to see you too, bud. Yeah, no, I fully agree. I do have something of an issue with like schools and synagogues or churches, as it will. But I think that's just me being a product of the time period that I grew up. I know people who have the tax license to own fully automatic weapons, and none of them have ever escaped and run off and done crimes without anybody, you know. So I'm not worried about the firearms themselves. What you need to worry about in that case are the people with the firearms, right?
Sure.
And if it's against the law for anyone to have a law-abiding citizen to have a firearm, then the only people there that will have firearms are not law-abiding citizens. What's up, Lawless? Welcome in, bud.
I have arguments all the time with Brits because they complain about our gun violence. You know, my first retort would be, you know, we're a lot larger, obviously. But when you look at their crime, they get 40,000 stabbings in the first quarter of the year. So, you know, the truth really lies in mental health.
That's true. That is exactly the point that I was getting to. It's not a tool issue. A bad carpenter builds a house that falls down and he blames his tool. You know, that's the same situation we have here. Our house is falling down in very specific places in a very specific way. And it almost, you know, the tinfoil hat type situation, it almost looks like it's intentional, as if someone planned this. I mean, they've arranged schools to be almost complete and total lockdown centers. They have made it so that no one can carry firearms in these spaces. And so there is no concept of self-defense in that frame. And then on top of that, you make it so that the parents can't report anything that they, not the parents, but the, the teachers can't report anything that they see that might, as you know, lead towards the diagnosis of a mental illness because it's considered bullying. And so you end up with a perfect storm of our American education centers being the perfect target for people with mental issues.
And they seem to be the target for loose cops as well, you know? See it all the time when cops say, you know, put your hands up, blah, 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 and the person's mentally ill, doesn't put the hands up and do what the cop wants. He gets all, you know, I think it was a couple years ago, the guy with his hand under his sweatshirt, and they kept saying, pull your hands out, and he wouldn't, and then finally they ended up shooting him.
Yeah, the one that got me.
Good.
Sorry, the one that got me was in Las Vegas. There was a guy who was asked to step out of a hotel room by multiple cops. They're all yelling at him. They tell him to get down on the floor, to lay down, and then to crawl forward, keep your hands up, and all this stuff, all screaming at the same time. And homie was wearing some sagging pants. He had on I think he was wearing black sweatpants, and he tried to crawl forward. And when he did, it pulled his pants down, and like any other rational man, he reached down and hooked his pants like he's done a bajillion times and pulled them up and went back to crawling. But by the time he got his pants, they shot him.
Remember what the cop had written on his gun too? It was like killing machine or killing motherfucker. Or he was a fucking douchebag.
No, see, that's another thing. That's a totally different topic, but it is tangentially related. The tendency of people coming out of the military and going straight into policing is not a good thing. The soldiers are not taught U.S. laws. They're not taught the Constitution in the sense of defending the Constitution, the government defending against the people, right? Throw me some peace signs or something, baby. Let me off. That'll do. All right, baby. Welcome in. I think your mic is broken. It's totally broken. It doesn't work at all.
It doesn't have the right one selected.
Right? That's how it works. So where are we at? How much of this have you heard?
Just the pro or not pro Second Amendment.
Okay.
And it's not the weapon, but it's the operator of the weapon.
Right. You don't blame a hammer for building a bad house. You blame the carpenter. You don't blame the person shooting. You don't blame the gun for shooting people. You blame the person pulling the trigger. They're the ones that are culpable.
Right. Hello, Divine Sorcerer. Hello.
And I know that the Brits' next thing is, you know, they should take our guns. And it's like, well, wait. Let's assume that you're okay with that theory to take away a man's guns. What about, you know, someone who's never committed a crime? And you're going to take their gun away and you're going to allow that? And then what else are you going to give up for rights? Because once you let them take one right, then it's on and on and on. Am I too loud?
No,
you're good.
Okay.
But your voice is very annoying. Where's the chick at anyway? Like, I want her back. She's way hotter. No, you.
I thought you wanted Mississippi.
We'll skip it. Snark and Sass, welcome in, darling. Boopy. How are you doing? Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, no, it seems to have become something of a non sequitur at this point with the overturning of Chevron deference and the different federal organs not being able to interpret their own laws. Suddenly none of those laws are capable, those interpretations are being enforced. And so you have a natural inclination, I think it's natural, it feels natural to me, towards constitutional carry in more states. I mean, right now it's what, 15, 20 states, 22 states, something like that.
That are what?
Constitutional carry.
Oh.
I think Texas is an open carry state, ain't it?
Yes.
Right. Georgia was an open carry state up until recently. I think year before last, we voted in constitutional carry. Now you can wear your pistol as a hat if you want to. Like, you can have it as a belt buckle. It doesn't matter how you carry it as long as you're safe with it. Now, with that came a few other things that most people didn't consider. So, like, now if you're involved in an incident and it turns out that maybe you went a little too far, you're going to have the hammer dropped on you. Like, there's no forgiveness on the other side of this. There's no, oops, I shouldn't have shot twice. There's none of that. I mean, things like castle doctrine and whatnot, they stand pretty. I mean, being stand your ground and castle doctrine here means that I don't have any duty to retreat, but personally, because I am familiar with what I have in my pockets, I will usually take a retreat before it ever becomes an issue.
Oh, I just read the banner.
Baby boy. What's up, Joe Cool?
What's up, Joe Cool?
Who's that? Hold on, let me zoom in. Hey, John. What's up, girl?
Hey.
You and the hippie are good together. I'm surprisingly good together. I was content to sit my ass in the chat because you guys are doing so fucking well. I'm going to be quiet because you know how I am. But you guys are doing well. I just wanted to listen.
Oh, thank you.
Really well.
Thank you. She did. I've got a few videos over here, but I kind of want to chew on this topic a little bit longer. Employers have the ability to prevent you from carrying while on the clock, right? I don't think they can actually prevent you from carrying on site without an individual citation. You know what I'm saying? They have to come to you and be like, sir, we don't want you to bring your firearm here, and document it. After that, if you come back, you're automatically criminally trespassed.
I think that's what they're trying to do in Massachusetts. They're trying to do something in Massachusetts where if you're on private property, you can't carry unless you have written permission to carry on that property, which is crazy.
You mean like I can't walk into the store, to the Kmart or something? Is that what y'all said?
Exactly, without having permission.
So, I mean,
Is
like
that
I said,
logical, Sasquatch? If I drive my car to the Target, hit my gun on the property, is that what I'm supposed to not take my gun because I may stop at a gas station?
I mean, the whole idea of the gun is protection.
But you have to now if you're going into a church, a school, or a federal building for the most part. That's
Leave it in the
exactly
car.
where we're at, right? You have to leave it in the car. And then they could come at you for not having it properly stored if they happen to find you have a gun in your car. So there's all kinds of caveats to all of this. The best thing we can do, in my opinion, is to go constitutional carry and stop making soft target zones all over the place.
Yes.
You
a
remember
guy is a god with a gun, right? Any crook is a god with a gun now. If, like you say, make soft target zones, somebody can be a god. I agree with you.
Right. Do you remember Furry Potato?
I do. I was watching her yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of lost track of her, but
she's bad.
Back, what was it, about 3 years ago? She went to a synagogue and walked up outside of a fence and got shot.
Yes, that technically he shot a warning shot into the ground, and a piece of the sidewalk hit her in the leg. We thought it was a bullet for a while until she went to the hospital.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
But the point still stands. This individual recklessly discharged a firearm for no reason, only because he didn't want to be filmed. That was the reason he did it. Now, they could say anything else they want to say, but I watched that. He told them, stop filming, homie goes, or what? And then a gunshot goes off and they went down, and it was a big mystery. But like you said, it was
then he said, I was just trying to fire a warning shot. You can't do that downtown Los Angeles. You can't fire warning shots.
There's no such thing as a warning shot, Joe. A warning shot is a reckless discharge.
I would agree, especially in a city.
Anywhere. That's just the law. That's the way it works. There's no such thing. That is a legal fallacy. It's not real. There's no such thing as a warning shot.
I figured you guys might get away with it in the bush. I imagine you living in the bush with trees and shit. I figure you guys might be like, it's just a normal thing. God damn it, get off my property, pal. You know.
I live in a small town over here that is on the eastern bird corridor for migration. And because of that, any discharge of firearm inside city limits is a felony. Unless you can prove a felony, you're shooting at something else. Well, it's the EPA. I mean, it's not.
Yes, I get it.
those things.
I get it.
It's insane. But basically, the only way to disprove that you were shooting at a bird is to bring the body of what you were shooting at.
Right. Cut out the tree you were shooting at. What the fuck you supposed to do, right?
Yeah, no, you're not. There's no discharging firearms inside city limits. It's just not done at all. You can carry, you can walk around with it, you can do anything you want with it as long as it don't go pew pew. Or if it does, you've got a dead dog, you've got blood on the ground, you've got a victim,
right.
something like that.
I get it.
So I just did something because I'm a bit of a whack with the AI. So I asked Grok, what if the average human should have a gun? It came up with a pretty rad answer. Kind of, it rode the fence on the fact that it's great for protection, but has a lot of downfalls and pretty interesting couple paragraphs. Might want to look at it.
It sounds like if you it's the standard answer. It has its good qualities, but then they got to do the government and shit say, however, you know, a professional needs to do this. Then they say the shit that they must say to clean it up. It sounds like one of those answers.
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to hear it, I'll spit it out. So I think it's 3 paragraphs total. Got quite a bit of.
He's asking your permission, Sasquatch.
He's got to drop it backstage for me to bring it up.
I was just going to read what Grok said.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead. I was, yeah, sure.
So the question was, should average citizens have guns? And the answer was, the question of whether average citizens should have guns is a hotly debated topic, and it really depends on what angle you're coming from, practical, ethical, or legal. On one hand, proponents argue that the fundamental right tied to self-defense and personal liberty in places like the U.S., the Second Amendment backs this up, and stats show that 40% of adults live in households with guns, according to Gallup Poll 2023. The reasoning often goes, if someone's breaking into your home at 3 a.m., a gun might be the only thing between you and disaster. Plus, there is a deterrence angle. Armed citizens make criminals think twice. On the flip side, opponents point to the downside. More guns can mean more accidents, suicides, and escalations of everyday disputes into deadly encounters. In 2021, the U.S. saw nearly 49,000 gun-related deaths, with over half being suicides. Wow. Holy shit. In 2021, the U.S. saw nearly 49,000 gun-related deaths, with over half being suicide. Countries with higher gun laws like Japan or UK have way lower gun violence rates, often cited as evidence that restricting access saves lives. The counter-argument is that criminals don't follow laws anyways, so you're just disarming the law-abiding. Practically, it's a mixed bag. Studies like ones from the Rand Corporation show defensive gun use happens, but it's hands to pin down how often. Estimate range from 100,000 to 2.5 million times a year. Meanwhile, gun control measures have inconsistent results. Some reduce specific crimes, others don't budge overall homicide rates. It boils down to trade-offs. More guns might mean more empowerment, but also more risk. Fewer guns might mean less violence, but also less ability to protect yourself. What's your take? Pretty interesting answer.
Not too horrible.
That's a political answer if I ever heard one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of got to, though. That's the
50,000 deaths, though, and half suicide. I didn't know that.
I got one for you, and I'm not going to bring up no receipts on this because screw y'all, do your own research. But
lazy Sasquatch. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just wasn't prepared for the conversation, to be honest. If we do this again, I'll bring it.
How dare you?
Lazy
Unacceptable.
Lazy. Yeah, I'll go take a nap and let y'all run my panel. Listen. Whenever they count the quote unquote school shootings, they also count locations that are no longer open. Events that happen within like 500 yards, and so this includes in a lot of cases the adjacent properties and whatnot. And they also when counting the shootings, they include gang associated violence, but when counting gang associated violence, they don't include school shootings at all, even when they are directly related.
I always wonder how come, you know, like I like to, when I'm trolling and doing a white versus black shit, that's what I do. You know, when they say black people are shitty and we do this, I say, what about you white people shooting up all the schools? And I always wonder why someone doesn't come back on me and be like, dude, if you count gang shootings, man, I think y'all got us beat.
That's why, because of the way the numbers are manipulated when they're picking up these statistics, they do include it whenever it's beneficial to their narrative, and then they exclude it when it's not beneficial, right? Flip me off.
Oops, sorry.
Toe, flip me off. Give me a finger.
I was going to say, I see that word coming up a lot out there. 988, if you're having a bad day, you can talk to somebody at the hotline. 988, if you're having a bad day.
988. Oh, that's the hotline. What's up, Toe?
Yeah, that's the hotline. I see that word everywhere. So, and I even mentioned it. So just to be.
Dude, fix your audio, Toe. What the hell?
I muted him.
I thought it was
What's it doing? What's it doing?
Huh? It sounds like you're eating the mic, homie.
Yeah, it sounded like Barry White there for a second. No, you gotta get closer. Now we can't hear you.
Now we can.
It was just that opening. You're good. You was just that opening. It sounded like what's up?
Yeah.
Very good. Toe, you got an opinion on the gun shit?
I just popped in. What was you talking about?
Oh, you know, I will jump you in a heartbeat. Don't act like you don't know what we're talking about. Somebody.
I carry a gun. I carry a gun every day.
I think that's your opinion. I think we know your opinion on it.
I'm pro 2A 100%.
Yeah, that's what CwS was kind of talking about.
Hippie, you all right? Blink twice.
Yeah,
if you
yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
You don't like guns, Joe?
YouTube flashed all but between my eyes and my answer, right? YouTube. Yeah, I've had, I don't know, maybe about in the teens taken from me by police. So that'll tell you that I like them.
No, well, I mean, next time I see you, you can just rub my gun for a while if it makes you feel better.
Or your cock, I couldn't help it.
Oh, no. Oh, did
whoa.
Set me up when I was right. What are you, a pig, Toe?
Welcome in, John Denicola. Appreciate you coming through. Make stupid people famous. Welcome in.
Hey, what's up, John? Famous was good.
But yeah,
you guys continue on, fucking Sasquatch.
I think it's been fairly well demonstrated by the weirdness of the past 10 years or so. The way it's difficult to find certain statistics and how they seem to be like, it all seems to point in one direction. It's weird because when you plainly look at the street, when you walk outside, gun-free zones are the softest targets in America. And they are the only place that people feel like they can go do stuff like this without repercussions,
Yes.
Okay, welcome in.
You certainly would. I think it's logical that you would feel emboldened. I was watching a video today. I'm not going to send it to you. It's on Reddit. You couldn't play it anyway. But this guy walks up to a bus stop, looks like a bus stop. There's so many people there, pulls his gun and reaches for a chick or her purse or something, just in broad daylight. As soon as he stepped to that chick, another woman pulls out her gun, shoots him dead in the gut. And, everybody runs, he falls. And then she walks over and kicks his gun away from his hand like the cops. And then everybody walks. I'm like, that would be the norm. He thought he was a god. If he knows that 50% of these people might be armed, that doesn't happen.
Right. And I call it the Vice City analogy. There was a cheat code you could put into Vice City where it would arm all of the citizens with random weapons. And I used to keep it on all the time on my game. And when other people would come and play and they'd run around and try to jack up,
bully somebody.
The little old lady pull out a 357 Magnum and just end them.
All right.
Some stuff. You'll have much nicer manners.
Yes, that's a dope example too. I gotta wrap my head around it because it may work in real life. If it might be logical, and if it may be a good example to point to later. I'm talking too much.
It's good. You're good, bud. Yeah. An armed society is a polite society. This has been known since the dawn of time. If everybody has the ability, they say man was not made equal, but Sam Colt filled in the gap.
That's dope. I never heard of it. Dope.
Here's a pretty interesting statistic. Again, I'm just picking away at the AI. This one's short, but it's under answer of. Here's a rundown of statistics in America based on latest available data as of March 23rd, 2025. Demographic is the list that the answer comes under. Guns are the leading cause of death for kids from age 1 to 17 since 2020, with 2,566 killed in 2023. Black Americans face a gun homicide rate 14 times higher than white Americans in 2022. Black youth had a 1 in 17, had a rate 8 times higher than white peers. Men account for 86% of gun deaths. Wow. Women don't use guns, huh? And white Americans dominate gun suicide, 74%. Wow, that's some interesting
What was that
right
last
there.
one? Something about suicide. What was the last one?
The last one, men account for 86% of gun deaths, and white Americans dominate gun suicide, 74%.
But that was a joke there. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, no, I'm not touching it with a 10.
I'll leave that one alone.
Thank
I do
you.
have some standards. But wow.
Yeah, pretty
some of them were
interesting.
obvious that men kill more and that guns are the leading cause of death. When you consider that 300 million Americans, 2,000 of them, you're really being an alarmist when it's the leading cause of deaths. You've been a bit of a fucking alarmist. But
21 million gun sales in 2020. What year was that? Was that the year the
That was the
Trump,
the lockdown
great
period.
pandemic?
Yeah,
21.8 million. At that point, they were predicting 42% of household reporting gun ownership.
Bro, I remember there was a what was it?
Get ammunition either. That's when it was hard to find like 9mm.
I remember that. Yeah, the stores
There
are
was
empty.
a ton of these left-wing gun grabbers that were like trying to prove some kind of something, and they would go into like these places and try to buy a firearm, and they go in, they pay for it, and then the guy would like finish signing off on whatever it was, and then they just stand there and wait. And they're like, "Well, where's my gun? Oh, you can get it in a week. We'll call you after all your background stuff goes through." And then they were back on TikTok a few days later talking about their background check got flagged because they're nuts.
Wait. Let me follow that. No. My take on that is that you got to give it to them anyway if they've shown no proclivity. Just because. Who decides if they get it? Whoever gets that job will not satisfy me. They will be like, did you see her on TikTok? That bitch is crazy. She doesn't get a gun. And I can't have that.
Now, they were felons. That's the thing. It was like they were going in
that
trying
too.
to buy a gun. Well, I'm not big on felons having their gun rights taken forever.
Take them, period. I'm a felon. I sold a quarter pound of weed. Why would you take my gun?
It's just like voting. Why would they take your vote? But they do. They disenfranchise you.
No. We're talking about our opinions on it. I was giving my opinion. You give your opinion. I would like. I think people should have their guns. Blah blah blah.
One exception.
There should be at least a statute on convicted felons that like a 10-year no prior, and then be able to get your rights back for guns. I believe
it should be mandatory if you're gonna invade someone, go against the Second Amendment like that, then you better have a time limit on it. Yeah.
Here's another cool. The U.S. gun homicide rate is 26 times higher than other high-income countries. which is interesting, compared to peers like Japan, which is 0.005 deaths per 100,000, or the UK, which is 0.013. And then America in 2022 was a rate of 4.5 per 100,000.
Again, another whack stat. These cats, most cats, don't have guns anymore. So it's very easy to say, look at all the gun deaths you have. I worry about people who, who use that.
Yeah, they take all the guns away and all
Give
those
me 1
guns
second.
you're talking about.
Legion, welcome in, bud. Appreciate you coming through. I'm pretty sure you don't have any idea what's going on, do you?
No, I have no idea what's going on, but thanks for the invite, man.
Here's the synopsis, the Cliff's Notes, as it were. I had a guest tonight that was supposed to come in. Power got knocked out on his block. He's sitting around waiting for it to come back on. I revamped the show as a Chilling with Sasquatch, and here we are. I dropped you the link because you emailed me earlier. I was on my way. It wasn't out of my way to do it. So currently we're discussing Second Amendment and gun-free zones as compared to like ex-felons, whether or not they should get their gun rights back, that kind of stuff.
And what Caucasian meant to say was his guest that lives in a trailer park didn't pay their bill and lost.
Be careful, bro. You don't know Fat Rock. You don't know Fat Rock. You need to calm down, Toe.
The Starbucks is closed.
Some of the people you bring on your panels, bro.
Okay, sure. But that man got 48 subscribers and nothing to lose. I wouldn't test him. His name is Fat Rock. Come on, bro.
I mean, Joe Cool's name is Joe Cool, and I test him all the time.
I'm all right.
Just saying.
There's another McDonald's about a half a mile away. He'll be back up when he goes to the next internet. He'll be back up. It takes him about 12 minutes to walk that half a mile. What was the new guy? Hold on, man. Ryan, is it?
Legion Talks is the name of the channel.
Legion. All right, Legion. That's dope.
Well, I have like several, but yeah. Legion Talk's kind of the main one.
Oh, I got a million questions. I don't want to get sidetracked, but Legion just brings so many questions to a nerd like me. But on the topic, what do you think, man? That I don't want to lead you in any directions. You heard Sasquatch's introduction, what we're talking about in particular, the U.S. guns versus other people's guns and gun deaths, and he said something else. What you got an opinion on those?
Yeah, gun-free zones are a disaster. We protect our politicians, we protect our banks, we protect pretty much almost everything under the sun
with the guns,
with firearms. But we can't spare it for like children, which is a massive red flag to me. I was actually in the military, and I actually have a background in law enforcement, so I don't understand the logic behind this, especially when you have a lot of veterans that come out of the military that they would love to have a job doing security at a school. And you're not going to get anybody who's going to be more highly trained than, because we already have the training coming out. It's like, why not utilize that? But no, they make kids these schools, these soft targets, and it's just nonsensical. And yet we have to hear on the news all the time, well, there's another school. Well, you know what? And I'm so tired of hearing it from politicians too, who they have private security half the time, or they're protected by, federal law enforcement.
Yes. And that's brilliant. And the first thing they'll say is, what about the kids? If you cared, how do you protect yourself in a daily situation? Especially that logic applies. The more dangerous the fucking place is, the neighborhood, you would definitely want to keep those people armed so they can protect themselves. At least the logic holds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those things that, especially in the most horrendous neighborhoods, that violence is at an all-time high. It's rare to go to because I grew up in Colorado where Columbine happened, and I was actually in high school. 15. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Actually, it's exactly what it is. Common sense does not prevail. They're liars, and they rules for thee but not for me. It's
security. They want a monopoly on violence because they're afraid that we will act out and hurt them because they've done so much wrong to us. So it's insecurity mostly.
He's got a question. I'm curious exactly how many members of the public have pew-pewed in a courthouse, post office, or city council meeting. Not so long ago, a few weeks ago, there was a judge that was gunned down in his chambers.
That's right.
By a cop.
Yeah,
By a cop.
That's how he got the gun in there, right? Because that's a gun-free zone. He shouldn't have had a firearm, except he was a cop. He walked in.
Judge was screwing his daughter.
Like 2 months ago, too. But yeah.
Do y'all remember the case that actually created courts as a gun-free zone?
I do. Well, not courts.
One of them. There were a few. But there was this chick in, I think it was in Chicago. It might have been Detroit, but her daughter had been violated by a guy. They caught the guy incontrovertibly guilty. They've got all the evidence and everything, and they were in the process of doing the case. And in the process of the case, it was determined that there was going to be a hung jury or something like that. And she brought a 38 into the courtroom and shot him 6 times point blank range on live footage on national television. She walked up. They had just ruled, I can't remember, either it was a mistrial or whatever. And this is the reason they were both in the same space, was because she was given like closing statements and he was given that final statement thing. But then after the little thing, everybody stood up, and the second she got a line of sight on him, she unloaded that 38 in his chest. And it was from that day forward. Yeah.
I really believe it was NWA and Eazy-E's fault.
Does that logic hold? Because now, by that logic, girl went into a courtroom where they previously carried weapons and shot a person. So now we think it's logical. Don't let anyone in there. Does that work with every place? Movie theater, liquor store, so-and-so. All it takes is somebody going in and shoot someone, and now guns are not allowed. Is that logic? I don't know.
I don't think it does carry, because yet again, this lady had been through something amazingly stressful, and for the period of time during that trial, I would
Great point.
He was irrational.
Great.
I'm not even sure that's murder, sir. That might actually be a completely rational outcome of what took place. I know a little bit more about the trial. I don't want to get into it on YouTube, but the things that man allegedly did.
Temporary insanity.
Here's a pretty interesting thing. I'm messing with Grok. Just 2 sentences. I said, is government currently trying to take guns, any bills in the House or Senate? And the answer was, as of March 23rd, 2025, there is no clear evidence of a broad effect, active effect by the U.S. federal government to take our guns. Kind of weird that the AI says take our guns and it's hyphenated.
Why would the AI even say that when it's untrue? That there's,
I
everything.
can copy and paste it. Look, I'll post it right into.
How the fuck would the AI say that when there's? Yeah. I think there's clearly a concerted effort to restrict your gun rights.
Well, I can point out that as soon as we started having the Second Amendment conversation, we dropped from 25 viewers down to 15, and then 10, and then now.
Look, here's what it said right here. It's in the chat. That's its exact answer. Oh, wow. Came up twice. And so there's no clear evidence. And see how it hyphenated, take our guns? Like the AI thinks that the guns are theirs too? Wait, what? Kind of odd.
That's interesting.
I'll share. As long as that AI believes in freaking the constitutional right to defend myself and can abide by the Constitution or defend itself, we can discuss it.
It did.
Are you broadcasting this too, Hippie? I don't see shit in the chat.
I just put it in the chat right there. It's right under John Denicola's "Come to Massachusetts."
Yeah, March 23rd.
I don't even see John. Is that in whose room I am? First of all, I'm in Sasquatch room.
The Sasquatch, yeah, bro. I don't know who else is streaming, or no one else is streaming currently.
I don't see.
I mean, I could have. I didn't think of it.
It's weird. I don't see any links in here. Oh, you didn't put a link. You just typed.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's over there in the freaking chat written out.
Yeah. That's March 23rd. I had no clear evidence. Really? You fucking really?
It goes through the House and the Senate and talks about different things that are going on with gun rights, but it says none are actually trying to control our guns. It says the Trump administration is totally pro-gun. There is no way they're going to get anything anti-gun through there. I don't know. That's what the AI
No,
was
that's not a
basically
bad
saying.
argument. He's wishy-washy. Out of his mouth, he say dumb shit like "fuck that," take the guns first, fuck due process. He say really fucked up shit, and then you'll hear him, or I don't know if him per se, someone close to him on their team will say
that. You brought that up a few times. I'm sorry. You brought that up a few times, and I've been thinking on it. Why would someone do that unless there was some sort of benefit to them on the other end? And last time I said he was after gun grabber votes or whatever, it was just a real surface level.
The
more I think about it, the more convinced I become that type of rhetoric is dropped specifically to trigger people trying to litigate that very point, right?
All right, so he's trying to help
put it in front of the Supreme Court so that there's a ruling and it's no longer up for debate. So
he's trying to
say take their due process, let that shit happen one time, and the Supreme Court hammer down on it, and then it's not a discussion. We have.
Here's the issue with that. He appointed most of those people. If he's sending a signal that I don't want due process, and now it goes to the Supreme Court, he can't be so sure they're not going to do what he said. Like he called, what is his name? Roberts, one of them guys he installed. He called them the other day when that judge denied him and gave him shit. He called him and told him, straighten that shit out, fix it. The judge put out a note saying, you're wrong, Trump. You know, that shit's unconstitutional.
Sure.
And he's taking that chance that they'll go against him. Yes,
there is a chance, and that chance I think is part of this game. And I don't like calling politics a game, but ultimately that's kind of what it's come down to be.
100%, bro. You should.
Everybody's playing everyone else.
Yeah, it's,
definitely a game, man. Come on.
Yeah, around here, politicking means something else. It means you move around well in society and you're social and charming. Even like, ooh, he politicking, baby. It's nothing but greasy shit.
Yeah, nothing but greasy shit. Yeah, baby.
Wasn't if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Trump the one that banned bump stocks?
Bump stocks, yes, he did.
His first term, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
That was before the overturning of Chevron deference. And yeah, that wasn't.
Anytime you try to fucking get they're trying to shorten magazines. This is probably on state levels, but that you can't have 16 shots. They're trying to limit it to 6 or 7 now. I think in Colorado. I just left Colorado. I think they're trying to limit your shit to 6 or 7 shots. So all of those Glocks and shit you got would be illegal.
That's not something I've heard about Colorado, but I would not be surprised given our governor. He's what's the best way to put this? He's a big gay. So yes, he's extremely anti-firearm. Now it's going to be a really tough sell because obviously Pueblo, Denver, and Boulder kind of run the state, but the rest of the state is pretty freaking red. Over here on the western slope where I live, you're talking about you got towns like Rifle and stuff like that full of Hispanics who are nothing but farmers and everything, and you're going to have a hard sell for all of this one.
That's I hang out around there. Pueblo to be the nearest big town. You're from there, so you probably know like Rocky Ford, towns around there.
Yep. No, I had an aunt that lived in Pueblo for a while, and Pueblo is gross. It is a nasty freaking blue shit hole, and it is just atrocious. And then of course you have Boulder.
Go to film Cops. I go straight to Pueblo. It is the gutter. It is the ghetto. Yeah.
Yep. No, it used to be the worst. Now, obviously Denver is catching up because Denver is just nothing but a trash heap. But I think that people in Colorado are starting to get sick of this crap too, because Denver has massive homeless problems, almost probably on par with Los Angeles. And
it's not, but it's horrible. I've been to both. I'm in Denver a lot. I actually feed the homeless in Denver. It is the Walking Dead there.
Oh yeah,
it is. Yeah, not boy.
Oh yeah. I watch a lot of Mexican long hair stuff and DJ K, previous guest on the channel, these people and associated channels. And it astounds me when I see the type of homeless situation that's going on over there, because I don't understand that.
There, everything in Denver is really expensive apartment and condos and shit. They are building nothing that your kid can move out and live into anymore. They're saying that thing's impossible now. And all of that homeless population that they have, has been huge. They have been moving and they're getting more and more concentrated, more and more. They used to be every fucking where. Now they start putting up gates around the parks, and they also found some shelters for a lot of them. But now they've moved and they're concentrated. And then with the influx of the immigrants, go to a fucking mall or to a fucking cricket store or in a mini mall. It is the walking fucking dead there, man. Motherfuckers speaking languages you don't understand, and all you understand is they're asking for money. And it was already that problem with the homeless. It is just like insane. Aurora in fucking insane.
Yeah. Aurora is awful.
I see
Absolutely
a lot
awful.
more of Aurora than I do Denver, actually, because
yeah,
the strip over there.
Aurora, and there's another one right there. What's the other one?
Colfax, Brian.
Lakewood, Colfax. That's why I ran Colfax, Joe. I
what's the
go
one,
by the hotels and shit and park, and there's always 100 people out there.
What's the one that DMA does a lot of? Where he got arrested, where they all got arrested in the courthouse. Remember that?
Oh wow, I remember that. I don't know where that's at.
It's not Aurora, is it?
It ain't Lakewood, because
no, it was oh shit, John Denicola. What's the name of that?
This is for MLH. I'm coming from
Sheridan. That's it. Sheridan.
Sheridan.
Oh yeah, Sheridan.
I got
okay.
videos with those cops. Yeah.
Well, you want to know the irony is that when I first actually moved to Denver, I actually moved to the Upper Westminster area when it actually used to be nice. But
Yeah.
like the further you went down towards Federal Heights and stuff like that, the worse it got. And now Westminster is probably almost just as bad. And then of course I moved to Broomfield, which was extremely nice. Because I went to the University of Colorado at Boulder for a while, and it's
beautiful.
If you go down to the 16th Street Mall, which used to be a massive tourist attraction,
That's where I
it is
feed the
nothing.
homeless at every Sunday when I'm there. If you're
Absolutely.
familiar with Janet's Kitchen, that's what I do.
Okay. Yeah, no, the 16th Street Mall, because I actually worked for RTD for a while doing basically transit law
I
enforcement.
probably yelled at you. We used to yell at the trans motherfuckers when we be out there feeding the homeless.
Well, this was a long time ago. This is probably back in like 20, I think.
Yeah,
I
I'm talking about
stopped
5
in
years ago.
Dude,
Now we
Joe
don't
Cool.
yell.
Hold on,
Everyone
Joe.
gets
Joe
along
Cool has
now.
been making content on YouTube since dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah, Flintstone owes me $5.
He's one of the old heads, bro. I'm not even joking.
I used to start my day with my partner. We would start at 30th and Downing, and we would walk the train tracks back because we were basically we were transit law enforcement. You see like gang members off to the sides against buildings, stuff like rolling dice, stuff like that. They didn't give a shit about us because we didn't mess with them. We didn't mess with them. They didn't mess with us. But now it's a completely different area. It's completely different.
is.
The homelessness have just, literally overrun everything.
Yeah, it is crazy. And Janet's Kitchen, because there's so many businesses, it's a business district, what he's talking about. And they were pushing. Back then, 5 years ago, the police didn't want them homeless people, didn't want us to feed them. So they would push them and treat them really shitty. It was a big old fight about that shit. So they made the business. Any business now that opens up around Janet's Kitchen must sign a piece of paper saying that they will allow them to feed the homeless there. I think that's great, bro. And I go every time I'm in Colorado. If ever I'm in Denver, I go there on the Sundays. And I got videos I never show because that's my channel's about. But
ask you a question about that. And this is merely an observation from outside. And I'm not throwing smoke at anybody or blaming anyone for anything. I'm just curious. Doesn't feeding the homeless in a particular area of the city guarantee that there's going to be a homeless population in
I
that
think that's what's so great. I love that dude is from the RTA side, fucking homeless everywhere. And I'm from the, but someone's got, I love it. And that it is inherent there. Yes. I'm of the opinion, CwS. Go ahead, Legion.
No, I was just gonna say real quick, I have nothing but I feel bad for a lot of these people because they have a legitimate problem. And and it's like there's some people, yes, they choose to be homeless, right? And but there are other people that, like you said, it's like the Walking Dead, they have a real problem that they need help with. And the thing is that the city have left these people behind, and it's just it's
even
really
worse. I'm sorry to interrupt, but even worse,
No,
they
you're
went
good.
to war with them. About 5 years ago, they started going to war with them, and things changed, and it became enmity. It used to be they could build their shelters in places, and you didn't see them so much. Now they go out on the coldest days of snowstorms and shit, and rip their tarps down and shit, and now they've dispersed. They used to be in the parks and shit. Now they're every fucking where.
Hey, you know, and what's really kind of sad. Oh,
Much
have a
love,
good one.
Higgy.
You, buddy.
It's really unfortunate because you know, Denver gets extremely cold, and you know, it's one of those things that these people freeze to death. They do. It's very common that they do, and that's one reason that I kind of have an issue with the homelessness. Like I don't think that homeless people are a blight on humanity or anything like that. I don't think they're bad people. I think a lot of them they get messed up again, drugs, alcohol. You know, as somebody who's had problems with alcohol myself, I get it. I've never been homeless, but I get it. So the thing is, though, is that yes, during the coldest months in Colorado, which is the end of December, January, February, I mean, there are people who will freeze to death in
The
the middle
snow
of the night.
is crazy over there. And while we're out on those days, making sure they got blankets and food, the police are out in force with us, ripping down their tarps. They pick the worst days when we go out to help. They picked and that's how they discourage them. This coldness is going to make them move somewhere else. That's crazy.
You know, and I think it's an extreme reaction too, because the fact the police used to not be able to do anything. So for the longest time, the police weren't allowed to do anything. They weren't allowed to rip anything down. It was just like LA. You can't touch other people's stuff. And now we have an extreme overcorrection, which, you know, the other direction wasn't correct either. And you have all these people that have been left behind because, again, of bad policies from a governor who I can't stand the guy. Well, also a mayor of Denver too, because they both get on Twitter and they start virtue signaling about. I remember, I don't know, it was like 6 months ago, something like that. It's like, oh, it's International Boots Day. I'm like, you know, this is the mayor of Denver. I'm like, dude, hey, why don't you help with the homeless problem? Listen, who gives a shit about International Boots Day? Like, and he's like, have a picture of his boots on, and I'm like, dude, nobody cares.
I got a great video, literally across the street from the governor's house. Wasn't in a homeless encampment, and it was like thick, and you know, everybody had their tarps and tents. I mean, you just cross the street, you see his mansion, and you cross the other way, it was a whole encampment. I think it was the new mayor that y'all got. They came in and got some money, and they came to that particular section and offered them housing for like 3 or 4 months with another 3-month extension if they meet the criteria, blah blah. And 90-some%, I stayed out there for like 3 days until the buses came and took them away. They wanted to leave, and they left. And then there were the other ones who, you know, who were angry, and you know, they tore their shit down and cleaned up the area. And you were right. These people are elitists. Even most of the people who are helping, the regular people were just great people. But then they had the elitists who had to come out there and do the PR. Oh, they were horrible. Just, you know, like elitists, man, like cops, that vibe where they're better than you bullshit.
All right. What up, Untrackable?
Track, what up?
Yes, good evening, everybody.
I know you have a fucking opinion on that. Track, you been listening?
I'm brand new to this conversation, so
okay, it been right up your alley. Nothing but 2A shit. It was right up your alley, bro.
We were currently discussing the interaction between government policy enforcement and homeless situation in Denver, Colorado, and Aurora.
Okay. So it can be tough because, like, as a veteran, I was taught to take care of myself. However, I was also taught to take care of anybody that I saw that it was in need.
Right.
And it can be tough because if I'm taking care of myself and I'm paying these taxes that are supposed to help people that cannot take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And I put in effort to take care of the people that are within reach. And then I am then again put down by the government that paid me to so where are we at? Like, come on,
apparently
man.
they want you to take care of yourself and to help other people who need help until they tell you no, you can't do that. Like like the homeless people trying to take care of themselves, trying to build a home or shed or whatever it is like that, and you say, I want to give this guy $20. They're trying to tell you you can't help that guy who needs help now in the city. It's illegal to give that guy money. It's illegal for him to ask. It goes against all your training.
You'll love this, Joe. There's a place over here in a little small town not far from me. Makes muffins, donuts, a little bakery, right? Delicious stuff. Absolutely amazing.
I love banana nut muffins.
They used to have a 3-tier system where you had today's production, yesterday's production, and then a batch over on the side that anybody can just walk in and have because they're 3 days old, right?
Love it, yeah.
Some reason the city they were in was like, no, you can't do that. So after some feng shuangling and a few other arguments with City Hall, here's what they came up with. They make these flyers that they hang around town with advertisements about their baked goods and how much they cost. And on each one is a free sample thing.
Brilliant.
Off, and they bring in the free sample. It's exactly the same as it's been for the past 30 years, except they have to bring in a piece of paper, and they're plastered everywhere inside.
Brilliant.
Right?
That's a good word.
You just walk. In fact, you could walk up to the register and tear one off of the thing that's taped
and hand it to
counter. Yeah, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It completely bypasses all of your commerce laws by making it a free sample as opposed to a gift or anything.
And what about the old lady who's been going around in her truck feeding homeless people on her own dime? And they started ticking her and told her she can't do it anymore.
Okay, so
yeah,
this is one of those weird gray areas, right?
Okay, yeah.
And the only reason it's a gray area is because she's serving food, and the whole apparatus designed to quote unquote protect people from foodborne illness has been locked out of that process.
It should be. This is no gray area. If you're just gonna feed the homeless, I got a few bucks in my kitchen. The way you would knock me down if your government is you would come up with all of these hoops that I have to jump through where I can't help them.
I agree with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with a little old lady serving bologna sandwiches out of a freaking Cadillac. I have no problem with this. I'm saying the government has issue with it because it bypasses all kinds of taxes, fines.
Yes. It is not. It's not that they think the little old lady is not washing her hands. They're going to poison someone. That's just what they tell us. Oh, someone could die from botulism. We got to get in there and inspect it. Well, that's
exactly. And so what you're left with is a combination of things that happen from this. Your NGOs come in, they get involved and try to finance these things, except for in every single NGO case I've ever seen, 12 to 14% of their revenue actually goes to the topic at hand, and the rest is pocketed by the NGO owners.
You're being generous. The figures I heard.
That was a specific NGO that shall remain nameless. I counted it as a good one because it was literally twice the next highest layer.
Yeah, if you get one that get 85% goes to the staff and 15% goes to the people, that's considered high. 15% of the dollar you donated is considered high.
So every dollar you donate, 15 cents of it actually goes to the location it's supposed to help, right? The rest of it's eaten by basically what they consider bureaucracy.
And you can't go out there and do it yourself. You know what? I'm going to bypass that, feed on myself and all that because, they're going to do what CaucSquatch just said.
I got another good one. I read about this a little while ago. A cousin of mine emailed it to me just out of the blue. There's a place, and I'm not going to mention where because I don't know how legal it is, what they're doing. They figured out that there's a place in Denver where there used to be an address, and it's still a valid address, but there's no house there. And so people are getting together on Facebook and online and stuff, and folks are buying stuff from Amazon and having it delivered to like this still valid address, right? And the people who are supposed to receive it show up go and wait there for the delivery guy to show up, and then they have to do whatever verification that it's them. There's usually a code phrase or something sent with it, so the right person picks it up. But it's all paid for, it's all square and legal and everything, except that it's obviously not legal, because apparently there are reasons you can't do this.
Hell no.
It's wild, bro. Here's the really cool part. And like I said, I'm not mentioning any locations or names or anything. There's a YouTube channel out there who every other day goes out and sits at the other end of the block in his car and does a live stream just filming what appears to be a perfectly ordinary sidewalk. That perfectly ordinary sidewalk regularly has a couple of people show up, stand around, an Amazon driver will show up, they'll have a conversation and then leave. It's the drop location. And it's largely publicly known, but at the same time, it's something nobody mentions because it allows you, me, Joe Cool, to decide, I want to help Jimmy over here, get on his Facebook, be like, hey, Jimmy, I'm going to send you some coats and whatever. Go wait over there and pick it up.
All right. Here's one. It's similar but different. The immigrants. Some of them cross the desert to get here. I don't know why they choose that. And many of them die. So a lot of people started driving out there and placing water. So if they got close enough, they'd have a source of water and they wouldn't die, because if you're finding so many skeletons out there. And then people who don't like immigrants are going out there cutting the water. They go out there and cut the water, plastic containers, and let the water drip out. There was a war going on. They made it illegal to give them guys water. And then if they get to the road, it's illegal to give them water or a ride. You got to let them die. Motherfucker made it through the desert, don't have nothing to drink. You cannot pull over and offer him a drink of water, which is what a human would do. It's illegal.
Agreed.
Crazy.
There's another issue I have along the immigrants line. The CPB often have roadblocks set up hundreds of miles away from the border.
Yeah.
And yet they don't seem to actually know what they're supposed to be doing in those locations. They seem to be shaking down every single car.
That's what it is. They're hoping they get lucky.
Completely unconstitutional. There's no part of that should be permitted on U.S. soil. That is literally papers, please.
Yes. And here's what I go through them just because I'm with you. I'm mad. So I go through them and just spin around and come right back. You're not leaving the country just to give them shit. And they don't fuck with regular Americans and shit who you know, they're not trying to check everybody. They're hoping they get lucky and find certain key people with key things and shit. You know, I don't know. It's a shakedown. It's not like you enter the country and you go through a process. No, it's just an extra checkpoint. Well, this dude looks more Mexican. Let's see. They're probably carrying drugs. Let's see.
Just a shakedown. That's all it is. It is a classic shakedown in every single case. There is no probable cause. I'm sorry, Flip.
They have jurisdiction within 100 miles of any border, right?
That's what they say, yeah. I don't know if it's jurisdiction. They are allowed to set up this checkpoint, but they are not allowed to violate your rights in any way.
Is operational jurisdiction. It's
there different. We go. That sounds better.
Jurisdiction.
Because they don't really have jurisdiction where they can do anything. You can just totally ignore them motherfuckers and say no, and it ain't shit they can get. But I'm not. Well, I know.
I worked with a guy named JB back years ago. It's this old dude. He was like a really set in his ways, old fart, old Ecuadorian. Moved over here back in the mid '60s, back when it wasn't even a big deal, and he's lived here most of his life. So we were coming out of Florida. We'd gone down there to pick up some stuff, and they had a border checkpoint in Florida, like right before you left Georgia. We thought it was just a regular roadblock. We pull up, no, it's not a regular roadblock. It's this freaking CBP stuff. And we're like, we go through it, everybody's IDs and the whole nine, and we get out the other end, and JB goes, man, I don't think I could just drive away from that. And he gets off the interstate, turns around, and goes back into Florida on the other side just to trigger them guys.
Brilliant.
Right? You need what?
Brilliant.
I've only went through one, and that was in Eagle Pass, Texas.
Yeah.
And I was in a semi with my buddy that had a couple semis, and we just rolled through. it was actually a chick that had a AR-15, and she said, "You guys are U.S. citizens?" We was like, "Yeah." She was like, "All right, have a nice day." We just rolled out.
Right, so this is a good question here. Do you think that it's also into the confiscation of money, civil asset forfeiture and stuff? I missed the question during it. But yes, no, it's definitely civil asset. All right. So the way this works is the CBP really doesn't have any authority to do anything there except for try to flag down cars, essentially. Right. They then ask you for your ID. If you listen to the language they speak, they are trained to request your ID. Right. Not giving your ID is not supposed to be a sign of guilt, but that's kind of how it's treated when you don't hand over your driver's license. The difference is when you deny the ID, they hand you over to a state trooper who does have a right to ask for your driver's license. And at that point in time, the whole jurisdiction and jurisprudence questions that it's answered because it's a state trooper doing it, not the CBP.
Yep.
Right.
And,
Then you
I was just going to say what a lot of people don't realize too is that so yeah, the Customs and Border Patrol doesn't have any jurisdiction over any type of state ID. The thing is though is that if it comes to a state law enforcement officer, you are required, if asked, to turn that license over because it is owned by the state and it is not owned by you. Even though it is in your possession, it's similar to kind of to a mailbox. Like if you don't upkeep your mailbox, it actually is under jurisdiction over the United States Postal Service. The Postal Service can actually refuse to deliver your mail and cut it off at any point in time. And so, yeah, it's something that you actually physically sign when you sign for that state ID, that you are required to turn it over to a state law enforcement officer.
You don't have to turn over your ID unless you broke the law.
No. First of all, he's right.
The Fourth Amendment violation.
Wait.
Fourth Amendment, man. It doesn't.
First, let's acknowledge that he's right first. So, it does say that you agree to turn it over at any time. That means if I'm in a grocery store, I agree to turn it over. You do sign that nonsense. And now, Toad, you're correct. It goes against, which is why the police and no laws will make you ID, because it goes against the Fourth Amendment.
There's another layer here, and it has to do with the transportation traffic codes, right? You are not being pulled over on the side of the road. This is a broad sweep. This is why it doesn't violate the Fourth Amendment to stop and ask you for your license at a place, because if you're not licensed, you shouldn't be operating on this street, right?
No, that sounds like a violation so far, unless you add something else.
I agree with you. The argument that won in the Supreme Court was that because it sweeps everyone, it's not a specific like stop and search situation. I'm not pulling you over on the side of the road.
The Supreme Court said you don't have to ID at these at the border patrol shit when you come in the border, but not at the inland shit. You don't have to ID.
That's where this goes sideways, is because they do something. I can't remember. It's the Texas two-step or something. It's where the CBP asks you for your ID, you won't give your ID, and they pull you over. Generally have what I've heard it called a temporary citation, which would be your tag lights out, broken blinker, anything they can find that's really there, and they'll make up something if there's not anything there. None of this ever gets charged. None of this is not even actual paperwork.
They tell you they're not going to charge you. That's why it's a two-step. I'm just going to give you a warning. I just got to check something out.
But then they turn you over to the state trooper, who it then has quote unquote probable cause because they have a valid report from a standing officer in good standing with the state.
I'm not sure that even holds, right? The obvious argument there is that another officer, just because he tells a cop, get my ID, I can't, he can't do it. I would still need a crime, and that Border Patrol does not have a crime that he can give that state trooper. There are a lot of guys who blow up on the internet by being very stubborn, not giving their IDs at the border checkpoints.
Do you know here in Texas, Caucasian, up until a year ago, you didn't even have to ID if you were pulled over in a car for a traffic infraction.
I remember that. I remember a bunch of videos.
The Texas House, and make that part of the ID law, because in the Texas ID law, it specifically says you do not have to ID unless you've been lawfully arrested, period. Nothing else. And they had to actually put it in the law, or you've been pulled over for a traffic infraction now.
Interesting.
And that just happened within the last year. So a year ago, you didn't even have to ID, even if you were pulled over for a taillight out. You could have fought that and won.
I got pulled over there in Texas.
You know that, Joe. You know that. Remember when you laughed at them when they asked you for your ID in the car?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Me in Carolina.
So, understanding that there's a certain amount of this stuff that is going to have to take place to be able to deal with the illegal immigrant situation. And I'm not speaking about Joe Pedro that's opened a corn truck down on Fifth Avenue. I'm talking about actual gangbangers here. These are the people I'm concerned with. I'm not concerned with El Pedro's mama who's over there making tortillas at the restaurant or whatever. Those people are fine. You know, people who come here, move in, live here, assimilate. I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with people who come here who, especially if you were gangbanging back home and then you come here and go to gangbanging here, that's a no-fly zone for me.
You don't need any special laws for that, though. That shit should be illegal if you harm anyone, whether you're immigrant or American. Your ass needs to go to jail.
I have a problem with anybody entering this country illegally. The proof is in the pudding. It's illegal, period. Point blank, illegal. And in other countries, you could be killed for that. You could be shot and killed for crossing their border illegally.
I understand you. That is correct. You are right. But this country was built on the greatness of its immigrants. And I think it would be cutting our own left foot off.
My great-grandfather came over here in the 1800s, dude, legally. I've seen the paperwork.
You don't. Go ahead. You don't really think that has legal shit ain't got nothing to do with it. But when a motherfucker tells you with all the passion in the world that, you know, I don't mind those immigrants being here and blah, blah, blah. It's just that they did it illegally. Grr. Because I love you, I'm going to be nice. But that speaks volumes.
Yes,
you broke a law 20 years ago. I don't see you turning yourself in, or your mom or someone else who broke a law 20 years ago because it was illegal. That cannot be it.
I've got to go with Joe on this one. I don't think a wall is going to stop people from wanting to come to America. America is the greatest nation on earth. I expect them to want to come here. That's perfectly natural. You can come here, you work hard, you do the thing, you can do it here. And then you can't necessarily do that in other places, and obviously not from the places they're coming from.
They need to make it easier, okay? They need to make it pay. The problem is that to come here legally is hard, and a lot of people can't do it, and they don't have the means to do it. And the government needs to make it easier for them to come here, for the people that are worthy of coming here. And I hate to say it like that, but not the people that are robbing and killing, or how they dumped in Honduras and El Salvador, how they dumped their prisons and dumped their mental health people in the last 4 years on this country, because that's exactly what they did.
Who's more likely to commit a crime, an immigrant or an American? Who's more likely to do anything illegal?
Anyone, an American, probably.
Actually, the American is way more likely. The immigrants come here, and generally speaking, they are more law-abiding. They pay their taxes. They don't get the benefits because they're illegal. They do the job, you know, the picking fruit bullshit and hanging out in front of the Home Depot bullshit. They do that shit for 30 years. Fucking send their kid to high school. She's 17 years old, about to graduate, and the motherfucker says, you know what? Your granddad, who's proven himself a law-abiding citizen all of these years, he came illegally. He's got to go. It's nonsense, in my opinion.
But that's why I said they need to make it easier for them people that are coming here to better themselves and better their lives. We need to make it easier for them to come here legally.
How do you handle the situation of anchor babies?
Say what?
Children were born here, parents are illegal.
I don't know, man.
I have a very controversial answer to this that a lot of
people
pretty slow. What Trump?
If you're a Republican, you rip them away from their parents.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, sir. You document that child as an American citizen. You stick all of them together and send them back to their country of origin. At any point in time that child wants to move to the U.S., all he's got to do is show up with a green card, show up with his freaking
Why you
passport. He
send him
walks
back
right in.
then if he can come right back?
Because
Why
it's his
send him back?
family. You don't break up families. That's not the business I want to be in.
Why you send his family back?
Because they're here illegally.
Wow, that is a bit
No,
controversial.
I know. But we're assuming here, like I said previously, that there's already some kind of shenanigans going on that's extra legal in the first place.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about the law-abiding guys.
With the child. I was speaking specifically about how to handle the citizenship of the child. So
I'm
as to
assuming
break-
her parents, if they're law-abiding, it seems just like a waste of money to give them a green card, say you're a citizen, and send them back, and then you got to take a plane crash to come back, and then you're going to just do the same shit you've been doing.
Okay.
It seems unnecessary
This
step.
is coming from a personal experience. An individual who, the very first channel I ever tried to help on YouTube, that I didn't troll and I didn't kill and I didn't like smoke with my great and powerful Sasquatch.
Use your powers for good and not evil.
No, I'm dead serious. She asked me, she was trying to set up her equipment and had set her phone up and was trying to do it so that her girlfriend could actually help walk her through how to set up the computer she got. And I showed up before her girlfriend did and was the first subscriber. Her name was Yuri Antoinette, and she's now it's a lo-fi music channel with like 50,000 subscribers or something. But before, she did women's prison stories, and her entire prison story, all of them revolved around the fact that she was like a year old when they came here illegally, and her sister was born here a week after she got here, right? And going through school, growing up and everything, she had all of the problems you would expect of having, except she was very plain that she had it way better because her sister was legal than anyone else.
Right.
Because she was able to walk in and her sister would show her ID. Right. She said it greased the wheels of everything to actually exist as a person in the country. And I asked her why she didn't get her green card. And she said, well, when she was 14, she got picked up with a pound of weed or something like that. And it was a felony. Suddenly she's supposed to be deported. She ends up in the freaking system for like 15 freaking years, just bouncing around in there because she's not documented. They can't really
crazy
with her. It's wild. The stories are absolutely unhinged, right? Because it's all first person. Like, she got deported once, snuck back in. She gets taken to Ecuador. No, not Ecuador.
Gitmo?
No. She was taken to her home country that a civil war broke out in the week before she landed, right? She gets deported, lands over there. They literally come out and like frog march them into a building where they immediately turn them around and refugee them out to Nicaragua, because at the time there was no civil war there, right? So she ends up bouncing around these little containment points for people who have not been legally vetted in, because remember, she's not a citizen of that country either, really. She was born on the passage this way, so she doesn't have documentation in either place. She's trying to get her documentation, and finally the whole place blows up. A military attaché, the MPs, their version of MPs, showed up at the hotel they were holding them in, put everybody in the back of a black bus, drove them to the airport, loaded them up on airplanes, and she filmed the entire thing. And there were no less than 37 burning bodies in the streets on her way through. She got put on the plane, sent to Nicaragua, put on a bus, and sent to Panama, where they processed her documents. She then, I think she got on a cruise ship and came back in Florida, and just got off the cruise ship, went and dorked off in Florida for a while, and got picked up on a petty traffic charge, stuck back in the system, deported again back to Panama, because she's now an actual Panamanian citizen. And so technically that was good enough for her, and she stayed there for a while.
This makes me think that, let's say, North America, South America, which is damn near half of the fucking inhabitable world, someone says, this is mine, and starts making rules by which you can come to the whole fucking 2 continents. Is that okay under God? Can I go to Egypt and see the pyramids? Can I go somewhere and set up in a forest somewhere without some dude saying, I've claimed 400 billion hectares of land?
In the case of governments, no, sir.
No. And I hate to play devil's advocate, but it's
Please do. I love that.
it's actually harder to become a Canadian citizen than it actually is to become an American citizen by far.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's absolutely true. You have to actually prove financial stability and that you are actually an asset to the country if they give you citizenship. To actually and it's a process that probably would take somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 7 years. I actually looked into it one time because, and God willing, if I ever make enough money, I wanted to have dual citizenship in Iceland because I'm one of those people that wants to, like, when I retire, I want to live quietly by
Yes,
by myself.
I get it.
In Iceland, it actually takes a minimum of a decade. You have to apply. You have to prove that you're actually an asset to the country. They have to go through your financial documentation.
Right.
Over the years, they give you temporary status to where they monitor your financials, and then eventually,
Bud, we've got a participation trophy over here. wait, Canadians aren't Americans?
Right.
Congratulations, Howard.
They will be next week. They will be next week.
I'm about to say, you ask them Canadians, and they're going to say a very emphatic no on that.
Actually, most of the Canadians I've talked to, of course, the newfies are newfies, and they don't count. But the rest of them all are fairly wishy-washy on it. Depends on what time of the week you ask them. Like some of them are like, well, it would be nice to have a unified dollar and sort of a great American empire or something like that. That they would have a significant influence in because they'd have a huge number of freaking votes, bro. It'd be like
50-50. Like half the Canadians I know are dying for it, and the other half will kill you and set the country on fire before they give it to you.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely know quite a few Canadians that would love to be Americans and live here and get out of Canada. By the way, Canada is going. But any Canadian I've ever talked to, it's like if you were to ask them, "Are you an American?" because you live in North America, they say, "No, I'm Canadian." It's so I understand the way the continents work, but if you go around the world, because I was in the military, if you go to other parts of the world, they're going to say you're an American because you're from the United States. They're not going to say you're an American because you're from Canada. It doesn't work that way.
That's gang shit. When you go to jail, they don't ask you. Well, at least here in Chicago, I ain't been in a while. They didn't used to ask you what gang you're from. They ask you where you live because you will be assigned to where you live. You will be a part of that gang. They don't give.
Oh no, you're 100% right.
Said he's South Side, baby, South Side.
Oh, West Side, man. Oh, West Side.
What's up, big guru? Welcome in. Mandatory carry. Go screw yourself. You've got time.
I was just looking it up too, and there's 195 countries in the world, and not one country has open borders. Not one. Right. So why should we have them?
Wait. I'm sorry to be jumping on you, but that's not logical because everyone else does it. Why should we do it? That's never been logic to me. It's not logical. I got a buddy who does that shit. If I say America is too harsh with something that we do, too long of a penalty for selling weed. What if you were in Cambodia? You know what it's like over here when you get caught in Japan with drugs? As if because they're worse, it somehow makes it okay. That's a poor argument.
All right, wait.
Like,
Joe?
what are you doing? Like, those type of people are the ones like you should be happy to only get 6 months in jail for selling some weed because here you might die and they might hang you for it.
Should you really be happy that instead of getting shot, he tased me, the cop tased me? I was doing nothing illegal, walking down the street. The guy tases me. I'm happy. He could have hit me with a hatchet.
I think all you people that smoke the marijuana should be in jail. Jesus.
I like how it's phrased like all you people. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what's that mean? What's that mean?
Oh, Jesus, here we go, Joe.
What do you mean, you
You
people?
never met Joe, have you?
That was a white dude who said that.
Hey, look,
hang on me.
Hang on, look, I'll show you.
No, I was talking to Legion.
No, I'm talking to Toe.
What would you ask? Sorry, I made the joke. So
he's like, Joe Cool, how you gonna go down with those people? I'm like, a white dude said that. What are you doing?
Legion, you see that big tall dude in the back right there? Yeah, that's
The
Joe
pale
Cool.
skinned black guy.
Hey, send me that photo, Tom. I don't
That's
have
me.
it.
That's me. That's me at the bottom with the Pittsburgh Steelers hat. You know, the only cool motherfucker that has a Steelers hat.
I'm gonna have to go
All
with
right,
that
now
one.
hold on. That's
I'm
NC Pirate Hunter over there on the right, right?
See now,
No,
that's
that's
Wolverine.
That's
Wolverine.
Wolverine. My bad. My bad.
That's
It's
Wolverine.
the sunglasses
Great
threw me.
Lakes. Wolverine freaking Media, Great Lakes, Joe Cool, and me.
Yeah. Send me that picture, Tom, when you get a chance, bro.
I will.
All right,
Yeah.
so I told you one time, Legion. I said I've actually procreated on YouTube. Toe for Life is my baby daddy. He's my YouTube baby daddy. He met his girl on my backstage, and they went on and produced Life.
Here we go.
Look at he's bragging. Did y'all name the kid?
Oh yeah,
after him?
the
He was very
braggadocious
happy.
baby.
No,
I'm glad I've never seen this video, by the way.
the kid is nowhere near has any name towards Caucasian's name at all.
You didn't give him Yeti as his middle name? Scott Yeti Barrister? No,
I get no credits. That's why I demand it when I have the opportunity. No, I have people on the story like that. Like,
What's
these
that?
people on my channel and went off to make kids.
I remember now, Skunk Ape. I was going to try to ask you the name. You didn't throw Skunk Ape in there. There's one Yeti that's supposed to really
That's my
smell
brother,
in the
dude.
swamps.
I'm not even joking. They're out there. There are thousands of. He's been Skunk Ape to me since we were kids. I've called him Skunk Ape my whole life, and I'm not joking. It's only coincidence that I became Sasquatch later. At the first, dude, I was like, I got to tell you something, Skunk Ape. He's like, what's that? I said, I'm Sasquatch. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I started a YouTube channel. He goes, pulls out his phone, says, show it to me. I showed it to him. We went and looked at a few things, looked over at me. He said, is this because of the Skunk Ape thing? I was like, actually, I didn't even think about that when I did it. It didn't cross my mind until later that we're both cryptids.
But now we're related, though. Now we're family, though. We're kidding. Hey, brother, cousin.
Okay. So we've dealt with firearms. So we've danced around the borders of mental illness. I think it's time to take that approach. How much of the criminality in the homeless population is a byproduct of mental illness?
Legion, you go first. I know you got an opinion.
I'm gonna say that there's definitely an element to it. I would actually honestly still have to lean probably more towards probably substance abuse, alcoholism, stuff like that. It's one of those things that, we call them technically, I mean, that's what I've always referred to them to lately is the Walking Dead. So, because that's what they look like. They look like, they'll like walk around like they're yeah. And I don't think that's any way for anyone to live. Now, if they choose to live that way, I guess that's on you. But the thing is, though, is that when it becomes a public nuisance or even a threat to public safety, that's when I start having an issue with it. And a lot of the times, these people can be very, very violent. Mental illness is still a part of the factor too, because there are mentally ill people on the streets.
And some people will say that the substance abuse and all that is mental illness. You know what I mean? So
good point. Good argument.
I would agree with that. Yeah, somebody who has suffered from alcoholism,
I would say at least 50%, over 50% of the population, the crime is due to mental illness.
If you're calling it drug, then that would our entire economy here is based on selling dope. It always has been.
Oh, absolutely, it is.
So all of us
caffeine, sugar,
No. I mean, on Chicago, selling dope. That's what we do. When all the companies moved out, we started pimping because everybody moved here from the South because all the companies were here. But there was that white flight in the 70s. And then everybody started pimping and then went to selling dope. That's been our economy since I was a kid here. So all of us would have to be mentally ill under that definition.
Carrie's got it pegged right here. Drug abuse
I agree
leads
with
to
that.
mental illness. Drugs can cause mental illness. It's a chicken and egg thing. And mental illness can lead to drug abuse because they get hooked on stuff without understanding. They do things, Anybody who has, like, my brother's schizophrenic. Yeah. And so occasionally his cheese slides off his cracker and he's no longer operating by the rules we are.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's perfect. He doesn't hurt anyone. The worst you'll find is like him hiding in your shed, or
that if that's a different class of mental illness, there is that facet in the homelessness too. There's always a couple people that look aggressive, yelling at you, act like they want to hurt you, but rarely, if ever, have I seen them actually act out. And if you don't deal with the homeless, I got to tell you that they have a whole system that works. When I started off feeding them and handing out blankets and shit. Then at some point, though, I started trying to befriend them and going inside. I'm telling you, there's a whole community. They've got the doctor, the guy who knows shit. They got the wise old lady. They got the young man on security. They got the techno nerd. And they got these places are heated. Even in the dead of winter, they got great heat, electricity, all this shit. And they're content. I do not have a mentally ill. I'm sorry, I got a text and got lost. Go ahead.
So, hello, State. Powdered Dusty, you got an opinion here? Well, first you'd have to do the professional thing and unmute yourself.
Yeah, we weren't talking about mentally ill, so your time is great.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Just in time.
That's inside. All right.
Still muted.
So we're doing the Flow State Amateur Hour over here. We're going to sit here and observe him melt down on his computer. Wow.
Yeah, man. That's rude.
Nothing
Send,
yet.
send me money. Money now. Let me see you, bud. I got to see you.
We still can't hear you. We're going to lean into the awkwardness, though, as
I
you
seen
say.
fuck.
Flo.
I know that. I know I seen
Come
the
on,
fuck.
Nelly. Let me see you. Throw me some gang signs or something. I got to see you, bud.
I threw you the #1 gang sign, which is that. No, it's
Yeah, okay.
He
That's
might
good
have
enough.
to leave and come back in. It might be an issue with StreamYards doing the mic
Yeah, we
thing.
still got nothing from you.
Talk to me, Millie.
What's good,
Millie,
my guys?
what's
Yeah,
good,
baby.
pal? I've been wanting to see your ass, man. I've been watching
told
your
you.
fucking channel. I want to choke the shit out of you.
Oh
my
choke
God.
me? What I do?
I'm just saying, I come over there and I can't lie. The first couple days, you was rocking and all that shit. But now when I go to see you motherfuckers, I could go to fucking C-SPAN or some old Bernie Sanders shit. 24 hours you do that, it looks like.
Hey, yo, because you know why? I don't know what it is that whenever I play him, they give me more views. I play anything else, they don't really give me too much views.
I
don't
can't
know what
knock
it
you
is.
because I stood around and watched that Bernie shit, and I never do that. But he was saying some really cold shit. So yeah, you probably got an argument. Fuck that though, man. You got, in my opinion, you ain't got to do shit. It's your channel. You're a grown man. But I think you set some times. You know what I'm saying? You got to stop that bullshit for a half hour, and do something else. And put your face on there like you used to. I don't even see you on there no more, and say some shit. Maybe bring up a buddy or something. Talk about what your opinion on the economy. Then go back to.
I'm working with him. Let me work with him, bro. Give me a couple of weeks with him. He just came on the show like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I've
I've
been
only
keeping
been
an eye.
like
I've been
this.
telling people about you too, bro.
What you see right now with me with no camera, that's only been like, today's only the second time. I am. It's just to remember, since it's up and down, I'm in the corner real small.
All right, yeah, and I'm on the phone. I probably don't see
By
you
the
on
way,
that.
I'm going to give you my 2 cents, Joe.
Yeah.
This is for Joe Cool. I think you need to stop harassing the police and the government. Start putting bunnies and rabbits and
Come on, Scott. Show me something.
stuff on your channel too, buddy.
Salute to everybody on the panel. So now,
Good.
wait, so talk to me about this. Really. So when cops have the cameras, you got your camera on them for a change?
Bump his mic up, suspect.
Yeah, will do. Speak.
Fuck your mom.
There we go.
Yeah, that worked out.
What's
Thank
good,
you,
Flo?
Flo. We love you too, buddy.
That's all I got.
Are you my guy?
Joe, that's him capped out. Millie, you need to turn up the gain on your physical mic.
Or
Just
get
a,
closer physically to the
now,
mic.
he's got a mic like mine, just a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
So you need me to be louder like this?
Better, yes.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
better.
Perfect.
How's everybody doing? What's good,
Balls
Flo?
behind it. What's going on, man?
How that? I see you did a 24-hour stream. Did you do the whole 24?
No. That wasn't mine. That was Glenn's. I just restreamed. I honestly would even.
Is that flow internet of mine?
Oh yeah,
It's probably
his
his.
webs is all fucked up.
It sounds like you're in the Matrix, Flow State.
Yeah, you got the potato internet.
Yeah, get closer to the Starbucks, bro.
That's cold. That's cold.
That is cold.
McDonald's got that 1G, man. McDonald's got that 1G.
I'm about to say, it's got to be McDonald's. I've used the Wi-Fi.
That's not even
before.
Starbucks.
Starbucks too fancy for that slow shit.
Hey, Millie, let me put you on the spot a little bit, and you can get to know me. We were talking about a couple things, a few things now at this point. I'd like to get your opinion on something. And I'm going to be hard. That's why I said you're getting to know me. I'm not going to let you dodge. If Sasquatch going to try to pull me off of me if you try and dodge me, man. Give me your opinion on the gun Second Amendment gun laws. You like the ones we got now? Should they be better or worse? What do you think?
I've been a convicted felon since I was 16.
That doesn't answer my question, but congrats.
What I mean is, like, so when you say the gun, I never had a chance to really get into them because I've never had a right to get a weapon where I live. Never.
Okay, keep talking.
So it's like when you're asking me about a gun law, I've never had a chance to really dive into it because I've always been a convicted felon, even for violent crimes.
Did you not
even
hear
to
the part
today.
about I was not gonna let you dodge, pimp?
Oh, I'm not dodging
that
you.
Part. You're gonna tell me. What do you think? Fuck what the gun laws are. What do you think? Should we be able to have
honestly,
guns?
I think more people should have guns because I think if everybody's, it's like a deterrent a lot of the times.
Very
because I
good.
noticed
We
a lot
said that
of
exact word. Very good.
Yeah, a lot of places that have these high gun places, like it's easier to get a weapon. I don't think there's as much crime over there.
Yeah, I think Sasquatch was in line with what you're saying. Yeah.
Because think about it. Imagine you want to run up on somebody to do something to them, but you know they have a weapon like you. That's going to kind of make you think twice about it.
Yeah, we're in agreement. But we do got to get rid of them stinking Mexicans, though, right? I think that was Toe who came up with that.
Damn.
Anybody who's not born in America, I don't care what race you are.
Oh, no damn Mexicans. My kids are part Mexican, Joe. Thank you very much.
You look part Mexican, you're down.
I know, right? I get that all the time.
Yeah, I was fucking with you. Toe didn't say that. But there, I don't know everybody's opinion on the immigration thing. We beat those shits to death. We ain't got to rehash them.
Well, if there's a wall, I
racism.
gotta eat dinner, so I'm gonna bounce. It's awesome hanging out with you guys. Just Squatch.
Thank you for coming through, bro.
Next time you do something like this, give me a shout, man. I'll try to hop on. So, gentlemen,
I do this after every single show.
All right.
Nice meeting you, Red.
Damn, I was gonna say good meeting you, Phil. We go.
That was Legion Talks. He does gaming and pop culture stuff.
Send me his link, would you, Sasquatch? Because I'll forget when I get off here.
I like the pop culture stuff, man. Yeah, put his link somewhere.
Yeah. I'm getting there. He was supposed to drop it before he left, but
yeah. If you put it in a regular chat, I can get it on my other.
Oh, you want to hear something crazy, Sasquatch? So I realized that on the weekends, it doesn't matter what type of live I do. I could do like open panel, open topics, politics, entertainment, gang stuff, rap stuff. It doesn't matter what I've done. Everything on the weekend is a dud for me. But on the weekdays, my shit is lit. But on the weekends, it's a dud every time. Since I started going live, all of them have been duds on the weekend. I could do a race topic when my race topics will go crazy. Everything will go left. But on the weekends, zero. Nobody. It's like the algorithm is telling me to take the weekends off.
Joe is tired of race talk.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I got tired of that race talk. All right. So you know what happened with the race talk? I was getting 200 and 300 people in my room, right? But I was only having like 160 subscribers. So I already noticed that when I get monetized, that material was not monetizable because every other word was was hard ERs and people arguing. I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. So that's why I started to switch lanes. I got into the politics, and then I went from 400 to over 1,000 in like 5 weeks.
Interesting.
With the politics.
You're gonna have to keep that political thing now. You don't have to, but it looks like you've taken that route.
Yeah, I've been monetized for 3 weeks now, and that's where that's where all the commercials are coming from. Everything is from that.
I did a little bit of a different thing with him that I usually do. I didn't just bring him in and have the interview and do that. After the interview, I set up the next day, or actually it was right after the interview later that night. And then again, the next day we went and hit previous guest panels that I'd hosted. You know,
you got to do that. Yeah.
I don't know why it hadn't occurred to
everybody
me.
Does that when they first start out. They go. I've seen everybody do that circuit. Lauren, the lady De Laguna, the Truth. Everybody, I've seen them do that circuits when they first come out, and a lot of them disappear into echo chambers, right? Like I can think of a lot of Nacho, not Chiquita, fucking Paul, Saab, a bunch of people who could go around and say hi to everybody. And now once you get to know them, you know, they don't. Jeff can't go around. Gen X Jeff, as nice and lovely as he is, it just don't work out when you go on other panels and shit.
He doesn't play well with others.
Yes, he needs to be able to be in control.
Right, he needs to because he's a little flighty, and that's not
because he's
flighty. Makes him more interesting. He would if control. He
fuck that. I like the like niggas like Flo, the aggressive fucks. I prefer that over the flighty motherfuckers.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, he also has a very valid point outside of his channel.
Flo is bad faith, bad faith.
Mental illness.
No, I meant Flo will come in your room, and if you don't like it, he'll keep coming back. And as opposed to, he won't run from shit, right? A motherfucker yelling, "Oh, I'm leaving!" Yeah, that's not gonna happen. He'll be in your room calling you names, right?
I'm the same way, Joe. You just gonna have to whip my ass. It's not gonna end with you just telling me some shit. You got to beat me down like a redheaded stepchild.
Right.
But don't get it twisted. That's not the only Flow, because he's not like that on my panel. He never comes in hostile of mine. He brings in his people to mine, and he just, you know what everybody does, honestly, all the other content creators, they try to show me a better way how to do my content, or a different way. You get what I mean? And I love it.
Okay, good. Yeah.
No, why? Because you know the type of shit that Flo do, maybe my audience will want to do something like that once a week, but they will have to experience it to want to do it. And he's better at it than me because he's a pro at it.
He's one of the best though. It's like a lot of people try to do this. I ain't trying to blow smoke up his ass, but I watch all these people try to come and do their new shit, and Flo stuck around, and it's because he is good at it. If I had to point out what he's really good at, is I missed all that. I had my eyes closed.
What are you doing? We're talking about me.
Busted shit up.
He just messed up Flow State's clip.
You asshole.
I gotta bounce. Thanks a lot for proving just how ugly and immature you are. It's been real. And just so you know, I don't really care about your problems.
But seriously though, I actually have to take somebody home. Flo,
yeah.
I just noticed that you were streaming from here. Do you want to set up a redirect and take these people with you? Because I've got to go drop somebody places.
I don't think I'm not. Nah, I'm streamed out on my end.
Yeah, you know he's been working hard.
Yeah.
All
right. It was nice, Squats. Fifth.
Anybody want to pick up the stream? Toe?
No, I'm good, man.
All right. Okay. Joe, you do.
He doesn't believe you chased Joe off in the middle of him glazing me.
I know. I see. The thing is your balls are clean enough. I keep them clean, so don't pretend they're not.
You know what? Sometimes other people need to clean them too.
Oh my God!
Look out of there.
See, it gave Flo a big ass.
I have a plan. I've already kind of worked out a plan in my head on how to monetize Flo completely. He's only doing like a small percent, and I think I might be able to do the rest of it without bothering
So
him.
you've got a plan to monetize me. You're gonna pit me out, and you're just letting me spin my wheels out here, not making the big buku bucks.
Hey, dude, I have tried to tell you how to help your channel, and you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
It really is impossible to tell me shit.
But so what I figure I'll do is I'll make a channel juxtaposed very near you and monetize all the peripheral bullshit.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
I'm good with that.
You're going to be doing whatever you're doing. You can do whatever the hell.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think we've had enough backstage conversations now that he trusts I'm not going to do anything specifically negative. If it were to happen, it would be because I didn't know it was negative.
Wow.
I like how you're pretty making excuses for yourself.
You see that?
Ahead of
He's
time.
he's pre-justifying what he's gonna do later.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
if I do ever fuck you up, it's only because it was an accident for sure.
It's purposely an accident. I'm making you aware now.
Amazing how present Squatch knows what future Squatch will do. I'm probably going to make some mistakes in the future.
I definitely will. Very profitable ones. Hey, look, you can trust me to cut you out on the other side. I just can't really discuss it with you too much because then you'll know about it and it'll change
that might fuck it up. That really
it'd change what you do. It'd be different. Right?
I hate being so self-aware.
Exactly. So we'll just the whole process, and you'll forget all about this conversation.
I really will.
All their lives.
Damn.
Maybe one day we'll buy like 500 acres out in Texas and retire to where nobody knows us. And
I hate when you're right. You're right.
I have a big ass lake. Watch me. Live on a house.
I'm gonna hit golf balls across the lake at you.
You can try. I'm gonna make a bigger lake than that. It's okay. Try. Go for it.
I'm gonna shoot 30-06 across the lake at you.
You're a felon.
When has that ever stopped me from doing anything?
No, all that does is make us better with getting away with it. That's all it does. Subscribe to the channel.
We've already been bad.
yeah, we getting caught. Now we got tired of that, so we got better at not getting caught.
So criminals follow the law, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
We make them up as we go along.
Five Fists, tell them who you are and where to go to find you.
Man, my name is Mr. Amelia in the chat. The name of the channel is 5/5, like you see it on your screen. And we like to talk about all types of content. We like to talk about long, deep dives, pause. We do live streams. We do uploads. We got members only content. Yeah, we got members only content. So if you're a member, that's the only type of content you get to see. You got to be a member. And we like to do all types of streams in the mornings, at nights, on the weekends. We like to do the verticals, the horizontals, all types of stuff, man. Just subscribe to the channel. You won't regret it. I promise you.
Oh, who the hell are you and what do you do?
Oh, man, most of the people in your chat already know I'm motherfucking Toe for life, and I do whatever the fuck I want to do, and I'm out this bitch. Toodles.
Powdered Dusty.
I am Kenneth Copeland, and you have demons, bitch.
I do. I host them on YouTube. It's the most enjoyable thing I think I've ever done next to, sex. Oh, what shall we leave with?
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
Sorry. Good news, though. We're going to have to move the party somewhere a little bit more private, but you're all invited. Lorenzo will give you the details. Yeah!
But if I lay down